also finally have Loki. I was never sure how they were going to make a franchise, a on-screen franchise around this character. And Marvel Studios has once again showed me how to make their sub-characters work. Multiverse, absolutely the answer to the equation here. We'll get some things out of the way. Tom Hiddleston shines. It's a role that was made for him. He is an exceptional actor that knows how to work his facial muscles in a way that not many are capable of doing, in that he's able to tell a story without saying any dialogue, just using his eyebrows, his eyes, his chin structure, his cheeks. And it's truly remarkable. Like, I think it's kind of on par with what Robert Downey Jr. can do. And it's a very exceptional quality. This is a role that was made for him. He's just as animated as the comic book character. It's kind of astounding. Owen Wilson is certainly a welcome addition to this world, almost unrecognizable at first glance. It takes me a minute to adjust. Oh my God, this is Owen Wilson, and he's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's nuts. And
Wow.
Sophia DiMartino is a delightful Sylvie. And I think the rest of the cast, honestly, they all balance off of each other and they complement each other very well. I think it's a wonderful cast. Marvel Studios is usually quite good at getting their casting right, so this shouldn't really be a surprise coming from me, who's, again, much of a Marvel homer. Now, I'm starting to notice a trend amongst the shows, we'll say all three Marvel Studios shows, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki, that some people don't quite agree with. We'll call them critics in this case. They don't completely like how it's all just simply connective tissue that's meant to upsell future films within the MCU, and it's all just meant to be a publicity and a promotion for the next upcoming piece that you're supposed to pay your ticket for to go see on the big screen. And to that, I say, yes, that's exactly the point. Marvel was very upfront with how they were going to deliver their shows from day one. This should not be a surprise to you. These TV shows are not meant to completely stand on their own. They're part of a bigger universe. Maybe you just don't know it yet? I don't know. You say that they fall flat, you critics that are out there. You say that they have these nice arcs that take us somewhere on a journey and then they fall flat at the end. You felt that Wanda's character arc didn't quite stick the landing, or you felt that maybe Anthony Mackie's new approach to Captain America just wasn't quite as strong as maybe it could have been, even though these characters had far more time to establish who they are in the world of the cinematic universe via these episodes than just the small movie appearances that they've all had thus far altogether. And I say that these shows did exactly what they needed to. They got their characters from point A to point B. They learned something about themselves. They overcame specific obstacles, and they're able to take what they learned from these side stories, if you will, and implement them into the movies that they're going to be involved in. For example, Scarlet Witch being in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and now the new Captain America being in the recently announced Captain America 4 that'll be taking place. I think Marvel Studios is probably, as I've, obviously defended before, I think they're probably the best company to have their characters not make the same mistakes twice and actually learn from them and learn from those previous mistakes, and then maybe give them a new set of obstacles where they have to learn and overcome new mistakes that they're making along the way. They don't repeat stuff like maybe the CW has done for some seasons of certain characters, but I digress. The movies themselves are mainline comic book stories, that are ongoing to a certain degree, depending on, who's in the mantle of said role. Like, you can have multiple Thors, multiple Black Widows, yada, yada, yada. The shows, the Marvel Studios shows, are spin-off limited series comics that are meant to fill in gaps as needed for major events. Like, say, the Spider-Verse comic book line, obviously there were separate Spider-Verse stories that plugged in certain gaps of what separate Spider-Men were doing until they all come together for the big climactic battle at the end. It's just meant to fill in gaps. It's not meant to be their own award-winning sets of stories. It all ties in together. It's part of a universe, people. Come on. Marvel's formula follows their comics now more than they ever did in how they're told to an audience. This is what comic book fans have wanted forever. Why do you think these movies have made the most money out of any other film franchise out there, and that these shows are the most talked about and referenced on social media, especially after not having Marvel for nearly a year and a half between Spider-Man 2 and WandaVision. These shows for Disney Plus are meant to bridge us. And as of this moment, it feels like they are already finding a strong balance of creating TV stories that you don't need to enjoy the films in the theater, but they only enrich your experience. For example, with Avengers 1, I think Avengers 1 truly stands on its own as a really great movie, but if you watch all 5 films prior leading up to this movie, it's only going to enrich your overall experience when you watch Avengers 1. It only helps. But of course, we'll kind of see how Doctor Strange 2 lands with WandaVision. That is kind of, as of this recording, we feel that I feel it's going to be good, but we'll see how that lands when we cut back to it when we get to it later on in March of next year. Gone should be the days of standalone superhero stories. We've gotten plenty of them. Some were tremendous hits for their time. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, Blade, and others were painful misses. Here's to you, Dark Phoenix. We demanded better from our superhero stories, and we're finally getting them. It's everyone else that's playing catch-up now. Every studio, every comic book company, everyone's trying to catch up to what Marvel's been doing. That's why we have a whole show devoted to all this Marvel talk today. This show, Loki, did what a movie doesn't have to spend too much time doing now. It shatters what we previously knew and elevated a universe forward by reducing 6 cosmic stones that we spent 10 years chasing to that of mere paperweights in a matter of seconds. That's astonishing. Loki is great, just like every other Marvel Studios series that has come on Disney Plus so far. They have long understood their own glorious purpose as storytellers, and you just need a minute to get with the program like the rest of us have. And it's fine. Okay. But we're going to cruise ahead to Marvel's What If animated series, which is now far more important than I think any of us anticipated. It's not just an animated side piece. It is as much a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as anything else that's come before. Do try to keep up.
Whoa! Welcome to the end of the Knights of the Dirty Table video that you just watched. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like our video, share with all your friends, and catch our live stream every Friday live at 5, only on the Zenden Studios Twitch channel. I gotta go wander off into space. See ya! Whoa! Whoa!